Good evening, folks. I watched Judge Mathis the other day, and there was a brother on there in your typical clown suit. You know, those clown ass Steve Harvey suits, where the jacket comes all the way down to your knees, baggy at the leg, um, real clown, and it was orange. And this brother was dealing um, in a situation in which he had 9 children by 6 different women, and he was dealing with a white woman who was unfortunately one of the mothers of his children. And he provided no child support or anything of that nature. Um, and he made every excuse in the book to as why he wasn't providing for his children. And he was 26 years old, aspiring rapper, uh, talking about he's made money selling tapes and CDs or things of that nature. And I thought to myself, um, this is why many people don't respect black men. There was another case in which a brother who was sleeping on an air mattress in his mother's basement had multiple children, was also in court as a defendant um, by one of his baby's mothers who dogged him on national TV. And this was what this brother came in with some oversized. He had on an oversized shirt. You can tell. And let me just say this: as a man, you should always have at least 3 suits, at a minimum. I have 8 suits. None of those clown suits. I have different suits. I mean, nothing reasonable. I mean, reasonable price suits. Um, I keep me some nice clothing, some professional business attire. It and this brother came in with an oversized shirt, some khaki pants. Now I understand you get what you pay for. You know, you get what you can afford rather. And he came in, he had on some white Air Force Ones. You can tell. And I can't tell you how many times when I worked in the mainland and I'd see brothers would come in with I don't, you can tell they didn't have men in their lives to teach them how to dress for a basic interview. Now, I understand not everyone has a suit, but if you're going to come to a job interview, come with a nice shirt, ironed, starched, slacks, shirt, tie, a decent pair of dress shoes. I have tons of dress shoes. Um, but don't come to an interview like this brother came in on national TV with. And I'm not dogging, but like I said, you get what you see, don't go out and spend $400, $500 in 2 months on Jordans and Air Force Ones, and and then when it's time to go to an interview, you're trying to take those same Air Force Ones and put on some Dickies and and try to put on an old, I don't know what shirt is out there. Don't try to put on an Arizona shirt from J.C. Penney's and think you're doing something. Take some of that money, buy you a decent pair of slacks, buy you a decent pair of dress shoes, and some nice collared shirts. Don't bring your ass into an interview. Let me just stop. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen brothers like that. And be serious about a job. While you got a closet full of Jordans and polo shirts and no decent business attire. But anyway, I noticed his brother was dressed, but this black female, one of his baby mothers, I mean, she embarrassed his ass. And I got to thinking, I was telling my wife, if her ass was in Saudi Arabia, she'd be stoned to death. There's absolutely no way in hell an Arab man would tolerate that. There's no way a Japanese or a Chinese man would tolerate that type of behavior from his women. Only the black man, for the most part, tolerates the disrespect, the uncouth behavior from his women. And I tell you, brothers, I tell you all the time, don't let women, especially black women, back you in. I'm such a stickler for that. I'm such a stickler for inarticulate men. And it has nothing to do with being, fast with your tongue. Look, me, can't no female back me in. And I find a lot of women aren't as smart as they think they are. Don't be fooled by the nice dress, attire, the hair, the lipstick. There are a lot of unintelligent women out there. But they look the part. But then I got to thinking, well, I kind of can't blame these sisters out here. When you have guys like that, when you have 43-year-old men who don't have bank accounts, who are still dishwashers at your local Golden Corral, with not, they're two, got two felonies or a rap sheet. I don't mind that black women swirl, but you see, the thing about black women that swirl, you really can't do it. You can't do it. You try to do what black men do, and I've said that you can't do what black men do. The guy, the 43-year-old loser that's a dishwasher at Golden Corral, he can swirl because men can do that. Men can go out and do things, especially black men. Black men, we're kind of those mystic guys that a lot of women want to know if it's true, and I don't need to go into that. But see, for you as black women, as women, society looks at you as the least desirable. Now, I've never been into the one. I think, me personally, I think black women are beautiful. I've never sat here and called black women ugly and all this stuff. But a lot of people look at you. A lot of men, you see how black men can kind of taste the rainbow? Black women can't taste the rainbow. But you're trying to get into waters you're not prepared for. This is why I say a lot of black women, I could care less if you want to swirl, but you can't do it, because you're not up there. You're in competition with so many other women that are, society says looks better than you, that is choice over you in terms of being someone that is represented, that somebody can be they can, that you're not as represented as other women. A lot of guys really won't walk with you on their arm, and your inability to nurture based off the number of children you abort. your offspring that are murdering each other, you've kind of lost the art of nurturing. I can't drive that home enough. Whereas other women can nurture and still have this idea about raising productive kids through culture, through learned behavior. Whereas black women, you've lost that. American black women, I should say. I need to be distinct. American black women, you've lost that the ability to nurture. Therefore, a lot of men aren't checking for you. Don't confuse them sleeping with you, but they won't bring you home to Sunday dinner to meet mommy and daddy. All right, just because they'll sleep with you doesn't mean they're going to put a ring on it. But black men, we can get away with that stuff. We can swirl. We're known swirlers. Okay. But a lot of black men, you know, you don't get any respect from other groups of men because you can't control your own women. And a lot of men look at that. There's a video on YouTube of this Latin Hispanic dude talking exactly what I'm saying. He said, all you black men making videos talking about black women, it's stupid. And I kind of understood what he was saying. He's saying you can't control your women. And that's what a lot of dudes look at. You can't, black men, you can't, the brothers that deal with black men for the sake, the brothers that deal with black women for the sake of just dealing with them because I'm going to get me a sister and stick to it. You see, you really undermine all the things that myself and other brothers have said because you settle for bullshit just to keep it real, just to keep it black. And you undermine. And I talked about quality versus quantity in the so-called black community. There's not a lot of quality black men around. A lot of black men don't have shit, ain't shit. Which is why I see why some black women decide to swirl. But this is the conundrum I've talked about where, you can't really, it's kind of like the mind says go, but the body's like, And that's the predicament that a lot of black women are in. But I can't blame them because there's a lot of lousy black men who wonder why they don't get respect globally. Because you can't control, first off, you can't control your communities. You're cowards. You allow all type of mischief and debauchery and savage behavior to run rampant. You can't control that. You can't control your women. You own nothing, you produce nothing, and most men of other ethnic groups look at you, and this is why they give you no respect. It's fairly simple to see. This is why they can do and feel they can say and do anything and treat you any kind of way with no recourse. Because you haven't established any respect. See, me, Painless, I don't cut no shorts. I don't play with known racists. I don't play with people who even if I have an inkling that they don't want to deal with me because of the color of my skin, and I said this, you can't get me with that Christian bullshit of turn the other cheek and work with your enemies. I think that is total bullshit. But they know they can do that to you. Because most of the pimps, drug dealers, killers, see, let me tell you how insane. A killer can get out of jail. He done killed 5 dudes, sold dope, broke into everybody's house on the block. He can go do 17 years and come out, found Jesus or Prislam, or he done seen Allah behind the bars, and he can get out and open a church or be a reverend. And those black folks will sit in there and eat up his bullshit ass story about how he's changed. But me, Painless, who never murdered nobody, decent job, ain't got kids every goddamn where, never sold dope, never killed nobody, no criminal record. I can walk in the church and question their belief. And I'm automatically Satan's goddamn helper that can't be saved or needs to be saved. But this dude over here that murdered 5 people, did 17 years in the pen. Now he's saved. Now people are he's marching into the city as the people sing hallelujah. He can come riding in on a fucking donkey into the city gates and everybody's screaming hallelujah for his ass. That's the mental sickness of the so-called black community. And people know that very twisted logic permeates and manifests itself in everything black folks do, which is why they can do all the fuckery they can to you. Because they know they can just wave Jesus in front of you and you're just going to kowtow and do whatever they tell you. It's just like this whole Bernie Sanders shit, going to kiss the ring and pay homage to Al Sharpton. You see, that's the type of shit I talk about. These people know that every time they need your black ass, they can run down to the church, eat some fried chicken with you, eat some greens and black-eyed peas, sing a couple Negro hymns, pat your black kids on the head, feel sorry for them, make empty promises, and like a trick that does what he wants to do with a prostitute, gets his rocks off, he's gone, or she's gone in this case of Hillary Clinton, never to be fucking seen again. See, they know they can do that to you. I think it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Now, I'm not telling you to go vote for Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. Well, so what are you suggesting? That we go vote Republican? Nah, Negro, I ain't telling you to do that. But I am telling you is you're getting systematically pimped on the other side. I think Donald Trump is full of shit too. I think he's full of shit. He's saying all the things that people who sit around and call you niggers because you act like niggers, he's saying all the things that those people think about. And he resonates with them. Those same people who call you niggers and all this and fuck Black Lives Matter, which I think Black Lives Matter is bullshit. But the reason they're saying it is because they're racist and they don't give a shit about you. They like Donald Trump. But see, you like Donald Trump too. You like Hillary too. You like Hillary who supported tough crimes and tough laws against black men. Bill Clinton is the reason why you have hundreds and thousands of black men in prison due to that bullshit ass 3 strikes law. I bet many of y'all know, but that's your first black president. When Bill Clinton left office, America had the highest per capita people in prison on the planet. Because he followed that bullshit ass, we're going to get tough on crime. What that meant is he's going to get tough on your black ass. That's all that meant. But see, I don't remember that. And yeah, the 90s were good. And Hillary Clinton, she played in all that shit. But hey, that's none of my business. But yeah, many people know they can do that shit to you. They know they can disrespect you. Because you don't fight back. You don't demand anything. You're too busy praying. Oh, we'll pray about it. You don't like to face things. You don't like to face things head on and nip problems in the bud as soon as they arise. And black folks are very emotional. You wait till shit gets so out of hand, and now you're not being proactive. You're being reactive, and they know they can do that to you. Just like all that bullshit ass marching and rioting. They know you're going to do that for a couple months, and then it's back to sitting on the stoop, smoking Newports, drinking Boom Fun and all that bullshit and picking your ass, not being productive, not doing anything with yourself, sucking up all the resources. You know, then they know it's back to business as usual with you. And I said, black folks are some of the most predictable people in America. They know your MO. They know what you're going to do. They know you're going to come out the blocks, arms pumping, chest out, legs moving, you looking good. But soon as you come around that corner, your check engine light come on. Them rods start knocking. Ah! That hood start, and they all had a car that rods not when you ain't got enough oil in the engine. And them rods start knocking, that smoke coming from under that hood. They know that because you can't sprint. I mean, only thing you can do is sprint. You can't run a long race. And people know that. They know you don't have the spirit, the intestinal fortitude, the drive to finish something from, to the end. They know you're going to tap out. They know you're going to give up because that's what black folk do. When white people want something done, oh, they getting something done. But this is why you can have groups of people move in your so-called community and sell you all kind of slop and shit and talk to you any kind of goddamn way because they know this about you. They know you don't demand respect. They know you're a mindless slave that doesn't demand any type of respect. You see, I will never. I'm gonna tell you, when I flew into Baltimore one time, I went to a Dunkin' Donuts, and those Arabs run Dunkin' Donuts. And I was looking at the interaction between black workers that worked in the airport and those Arabs. It was, I just couldn't, the way that they treated some of them, especially the females. And I know that Arab, when he dealt with me, he knew I wasn't from around there because I look him dead in the eye. I'm not talking like a fucking clown, mumbling and shit. I'm demanding respect. I'm looking at him like, if you do disrespect me, we're going to have some problems. But I'm not out here looking to be disrespected. But I'm letting him know. I'm not one of these shines around here that is so used to the social dynamic that goes on where you're the one taking or flexing economical power around a group of people who don't look like you. And then when they leave, calling them all type of whatever you call them in your language for black people and all this shit under your breath. I'm not that one. Put it this way. I don't shop in Arab stores that disrespect black people. I damn sure don't deal with Koreans. I try to stay out of those stores. I would rather go to a mainstream store where that whole dynamic isn't going on. And you can tell when you walk into some of these Arab or Syrian stores, or especially those Korean stores. They got plexiglass up. They don't want to deal with you. And I understand, and I kind of tip my hat to Asians who really put up with the bullshit that goes on in the so-called black community. Getting robbed and killed, and that's why they have that shit. But it's showing that, look, we just want your money, the little that you have, and we'll sell you all this bullshit in our store. And then we'll charge you $11 for a quart of fucking Aunt Jemima syrup because we know you have nowhere else to go to buy it. And you better buy this shit or your kids ain't eating pancakes today. See, I'd rather drive out somewhere else. And I understand people can't do it. But I'm not going to deal with that. Because you're not going to treat me like that. See, so I don't shop in those stores. I don't do business with those types of people. Because I know where their mind's at. I know where their mind's at. But many black folks in the so-called black communities are mindless slaves. Mindless slaves, straight up. So it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of men don't respect black men because, again, to summarize, you don't hold your women to task. You let your women, when you have you just think about a man from a dominant male culture in Europe somewhere or the Mediterranean, and he sees and he knows that a lot of the black kids that he sees are raised by women. Now, based off, we know the human male and female makeup, while we are different, he understands that women are for nurturing. Men are for discipline, for example, leadership, advice. Now, it doesn't take much for a Greek man who's straight off the boat, who comes to whatever says inner city USA, and he looks around and sees nothing but women, and he sees freaking shiftless, do-nothing black men who do nothing. It's not hard for him to make the connection that a lot of these guys are raised by their mothers. Therefore, they have the same makeup and attitudes and behaviors toward any life situations like a woman. It's not hard for a guy from Eastern Europe who comes straight off the boat to America and sees that shit. Therefore, by default, he loses a little bit respect for you because you have no manly traits, because most of you guys have been raised by your mothers. Ivan, was raised by a mother and a father, not only a father, but probably had uncles and other male figures that instilled norms, behaviors, and what it's like to be a man. You blacks have none of that. Because I know if I see it, they see it. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, just roll that bar back and listen to what I just said again. And that's pretty much what you have going on. Therefore, he doesn't respect you because you didn't grow up normal. It's not normal to grow up with just a mother. Now, I understand women lose husbands, become widows and things like that. When you have whole neighborhoods of sorry-ass, shiftless black men and women, like I said, all you have to do is look at the carnage that most of these knockout game, shooting each kid. There was a baby that was shot in Compton, California, in the head. I believe the baby was 3 or 5 months old. Shot in the fucking face, died. That doesn't happen in Irish neighborhoods. Doesn't happen in Russian neighborhoods. Doesn't happen in Italian or Greek neighborhoods. I'd go so far as to say it really doesn't happen in Mexican neighborhoods. Happens in Cheyenne neighborhoods, though. It does. And I've talked about even in prisons, the Mexicans and the whites will work together before whites will work with blacks or Mexican works with blacks. While they are all criminal elements like MA or the Aryan nationhood, there's a couple things that make them similar. First off, most of those guys had a father in their life. Even though they decide to pick up a life of crime, there's still a cultural protocol of respect, manliness. Men take lead, especially among Hispanics and white men. And we talk about white. We are. I don't even know. I don't even need to go farther in talking about white men. Just the last video I did about white men. You can have a gaggle. You can have 80 blacks and 5 white guys. Those black folks are gonna sit back and wait for those 5 white guys to tell their asses what the fuck to do. That's just fact. So I don't even need to talk about white men. And they look at black men as not having that trusting, that honor, and shit like that. Even though they're Aryans and MA and Serranos and all that shit, those things, they're still a masculine, so we're men. Let's be, let's, we have culture, we have protocol, we have decency, respect. Even though we've dedicated ourselves to a life of crime, they don't see that in black men. And it's the same reason why that Eastern European or that Greek straight off the boat comes to America sees in black men, in the dynamics of the black family. They know you're raised by women. They know you have feminine energy in you, which causes you to react, to respond to every life situation as such. Unstructured, no loyalty. Run at the first sign of trouble. When the tough get going, you can't hang. Many people know that about black men. Me, I'm not like that. But I know a lot of black men like that. I know a lot of black men that run at the sign of trouble. That's why I would never do no crime with black guys. First off, I know they're going to tell, because when you put the squeeze on the shine, he going to save his ass first. He's going to run at the first sign of trouble because he's scary. I can't tell you how many times I done been in fights and with black dudes, and they, maybe one will stick around. The rest take off because they so goddamn scary. And that's the truth. A lot of people know that. A lot of people know that black men will rather, instead of shooting a fair one, meaning, a one-on-one fisticuffs, they want to jump. That's why the knockout game, a cowardly game. And it's sad, and it's hard to defend. You rather pick up a gun and shoot. That's what cowards do. And I talked about righteous ass whoopings, and I talk about not being so quick-tempered. And I was explaining this to my wife. I said, me, if I really have a problem with you, if I really have a problem with you, and you that man I want, I'm willing to take you out. I'm willing to risk killing you. Because I don't take those types of, I'm not so quick, and this is me personally, I'm not so quick to be tempered. I'm not quick-tempered. If I got an issue with you, I'm ready to hurt you. I'm ready to hurt you. That's why, it takes a lot to get me up there. You got a lot of black men running around with this fake-ass temperament. Oh, he stepped on my shoes. Or he looking at me like this. Or, man, you owe me $5. You really ready to lose your life or take somebody's life over $5? If you did me wrong and I really want to get at you, I'm the type that when we go to court, I tell the judge, yeah, I shot that motherfucker, and guess what? I'll do it again. That's how you want to be. Don't get up. Don't go out and because you some dude then kicked your ass. Now you want to go run and get a gun. You come up, you shoot the dude and his kid and his mama and kill them all. And then when you take your punk ass to court, you're freaking pissing and shitting on yourself and crying and slobbering and foaming at the mouth because the judge just fucking gave you 85 years. That's bullshit. You want to be able, when you take your ass in court and that judge say, Painless, please arise for count 1 of first-degree murder. We, the people of whatever state you in, sentence you to 85 years. And lift your chin up and take that shit. Any last words, Mr. Painless? Well, no, Your Honor. I did what I did, and I'll fucking do that shit again if I was in the same situation. And take my ass away. That's how you want to be. You don't want to be whining and bitching and you can fight it in your heart, your honor. You don't want to do that shit. You want to stand 10 toes tall, take that shit on the chin, and go do your time. That's how you want to be. You don't want to be sitting in prison for 77 fucking years because some female turned your punk ass down because you was like, hey, bitch, you gonna give me some ass? And she said, fuck you. And you went, because your soft, sensitive, cupcake ass went and got a gun and shot her. I don't know if y'all heard about that story. That's a tragic way to spend the rest of your punk ass years in the pen. But I'm gonna cut this video short. Finna go jump in the jacuzzi, wind down, have me a glass of wine, take a shower, lay up in the bed, and take my ass to sleep. Peace.